It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love televisions, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
Oh, my name is Mike.
And this week, it feels like 2001 again. I'm going to be honest. The news, as I was typing the news up, I felt like we've gone back 25 years because we have Lord of the Rings news, Mike. New movie for Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
We've got Harry Potter trailer to watch, talk about here on the news today. The Mummy sequel also came out in 2001. We got news on another Mummy sequel and so much more, including the back half of our One Piece Into the Grand Line review at the end of the show.
Yes, exactly. We had so many visually compelling things that I could have put on the YouTube thumbnail this week, but I was out last week, so thanks for filling in for me, Jim. And last week is probably when we would have done our One Piece part 2, because we both had finished it on time. Well, at least on our internal schedule of getting it done in 2 weeks. So I was like, I'm not giving One Piece the short change. We're getting them on the thumbnail one more time, because that show is crazy, and I'm excited to talk about it at the end of the show. But also equally excited, Chris. Mm-hmm. You just told me before we started recording you got the new Sprite Chill Mango, and then you also proceeded to tell me you don't like mango flavored things, but you got it anyway. So I'm really curious. You just popped it. Everyone heard it. What's your opinion on it here?
So when I think of mango, Mike, I'm going to tell you, it's not a flavor I seek out because it's usually one of those leftover flavors in variety packs of things you get. Like, mango is the redheaded stepchild of flavors in drink collections. And I would say the most recent mango thing I drank was forcefully finishing off a White Claw pack of mango, which is a bad baseline, but that's where my baseline is. I just drank this. It's a Sprite Chill Mango Citrus, 0 sugar, and I will tell you, the sweetness of a Sprite actually enhances this more than I thought it would. I was expecting that bitter citrusy kind of mango at the end, but the Sprite sweetness definitely elevates this on the palate a little bit. I think, what's the other one? Is it cherry lime? Is that the other Sprite?
There's another one as well. I don't know if it's strawberry based or not, but yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, so that one's good by itself. This would be something I could probably mix with two different things, like not necessarily alcohol, but I could actually see this enhancing other flavors just as well as it has kind of along the way here.
That's pretty shocking. If this is palatable on any level for you, it sounds like I'm going to absolutely love this because I'm a big mango fan, really in any form, like just mango just as its own, in a sorbet. Sometimes we'll go to like a frozen yogurt place and it'll be like one of the flavors like in the pumps. And I just gotta find it now. In our area of Los Angeles, we have one Walmart incredibly close to us, but they're very weirdly spread out across Los Angeles, which is weird because if you are from the Midwest, like Chris and I are, they're like everywhere. You can't throw a rock without hitting a Walmart out there. And it's exclusive to Walmart.
Yeah,
so
whenever I went to
the rough.
Mike sent me the link. I had to choose which one I wanted to pick it up at, and they were like, "Yeah, we all have it." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm not really concerned about this. I could."
Yes.
Get it
Snack hunting trick out there, folks. If you're ever looking for something, download your local grocery stores, whether it's like a superstore or a local store. Download their apps. I feel like corporations have gotten better inventory systems over the decade. Mm-hmm. So now the apps are starting to kind of mirror what's in the store a lot better. And they need it too. Like if people are doing like online grocery orders and stuff, you can't just constantly have stuff that people are adding to their carts and then the shopper can't get it. Yeah. I have the mango bookmark and I look at it like every day. Like I'm trying to buy like a PlayStation, like circa like 2020 or something like that.
Oh yeah. It's like 2001 when you wanted to buy a PlayStation 2 and you had the app back. I'm kidding. I'm just yanking your chain, Mike. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I also was telling Mike because we haven't talked about a lot of snacks. Like the other thing that came out this, I had two things I actually told Mike about. One's a Butterfinger, the French toast Butterfinger. French toast is. I've never grew up with the French toast. Nothing against it. Just never grew up with it. But if you like a maple syrupy Butterfinger, pretty solid. I'm glad. Like I said, I told Mike this, and I'm glad we had one. Definitely not something I'm going to buy a lot of. Stock up on. So glad I had one with that. And the other thing I had, Mike. It's actually for the adults here. The Claw Tails. Are you familiar with the Claw Tail line of White Claws?
Not at all. I know that I'll go down that aisle at the grocery store and the selection has exploded. It used to be 2 variety packs of White Claws, and now there's I think there's a hard tea version of White Claw now. I think they have a vodka based one.
Well, it's a tequila based one. But so Claw Tails are essentially cocktail inspired. It's always mixtures, right? They do have a mango margarita for you and your mango palate. Wild berry mojito, strawberry Cosmo. Well, the new flavors are they actually came out with new flavors for this summer 2026, and one of them is peach daiquiri. So I was my wife, she was looking in the fridge section for cold drinks last night, so we would have some to when we were entertaining. But she went and saw in the warm section, the non-refrigerator, they had the peach daiquiri. Because peach is my favorite flavor, Mike. You know this. That's my weakness flavor is not mango. It is in fact peach. But she was able to pick that up for me and try it last night, and it was fine. Like I said, I about forgot to tell you I had it because it's just it just tastes like a peach daiquiri. It's nothing really special, but it doesn't label out on the floor. So it was good to have those flavors. And you know what, it's Sunday night. The weather's nice here. I told Mike we just got our taxes done today, so I can go celebrate a little bit, and I might have another one while I play the Marvel Maximum Collection. Mike, remember I talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show?
Yes, it's a big collection of retro Marvel games, correct?
Yes. So Silver Surfer for NES, Maximum Carnage, Separation Anxiety, Captain America and the Avengers, Spider-Man and the X-Men versus in arcades Revenge, and then ultimately the game everyone's buying this for, Mike, is X-Men the arcade game, right? The original arcade game. And absolutely excited to get this. So I was able to purchase it. Shout out to someone who got me an Xbox gift card for my birthday. So I was able to cash that in to get this game for $25. And then I found out it's crossplay. So I would buy this game on multiple consoles. But Mike, if you pick it up and we want to play, try to get a 7-player or not a 6-player X-Men game going, we could, without having to both be at our PlayStations at the same time. We could definitely crossplay. So able to pick that up. So that's my shout to people for that. It also went on sale for pre-order for physical. If you are still a physical media person, such as myself, I did pre-order. It's coming out later in the year, October. November probably, but it's just one of those things you know me and my my touch of the tism, as the kids say on the internet. I gotta have all my Marvel games on CD or cartridge so I can play them as well, but excited to do that. And before we begin, I wanted to give a shout to listener show Jason, who invited me to ride along with him to Lexington Comic-Con this weekend. There's 4 Comic-Cons this weekend, Mike. Big ones like Planet Comic-Con, C2E2 was this weekend, if you remember me ever going there. And a couple others. The Louisville Arcade Expo is this weekend. But yeah, Jason invited me to go to Lexington with him, and we rode down there, and we actually had one of his friends, shout out to Dave, he's a listener show, Dave. He wanted to get the autograph of Tara Strong, the voice actress. She voiced Miss Minutes in Loki. She does, was it Bubbles, Powerpuff Girls? Timmy Turner in that one show I forget the name of.
Fairly Odd
Parents. Yeah, it does a lot. So we're in line, and it was an hour-long line because, Comic-Con people are interesting. If you want to go people watching, you go to a Comic-Con.
To say the least, yes. And that's coming from 2 Comic-Con people.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm the cream of the crop here, but people going up to voice actors, actresses in particular, and she, if you ever heard her, she's got a very screechy voice in some of the voices she does. So it was very it's not funny, but like, it's just very, very high pitched. Like she's like doing stuff with the people's, very personal, lovely lady. She didn't drop the F-bomb on me and Jason though. Funny enough, when we were talking about how we wish they had like how big. You remember the Miss Minutes Funko? Like they have like the 11-inch one that was like huge. She's like, yeah, that thing's fucking big. I'm like, oh, okay, you're all right. But then we did the show. We had some good times. Saw a lot of people. Got some stuff here and there. But at the end of the show, I brought one thing with me, Mike. A copy of the DVD version of Grandma's Boy, and you know Grandma's Boy, right? You're familiar. So at the end of the evening, around 5:00 or so, I noticed that Joel David Moore was on the menu, and he plays JP, I guess the villain, if you will, in Grandma's Boy. And he was there. He was running late. He got there after 5, like 5:15. But he was signing autographs. So I went and got my picture and had him autograph my Grandma's Boy DVD.
Nice.
And I just sent you the photos. I don't think you even knew about this yet. I think I'd withheld this information. But he signed Adios Turd Nuggets on the DVD. And
he even did the robot with you.
He did a robot photo with me. Just a really cool guy, and it's actually gonna segue into our first topic pretty easily. But just a really cool guy. Like he just talked about like how he was like, we need to make more comedy movies, and he was talking about how he was working with some people to make some more like low budget comedy films just to put out in the world. So that was a really, really cool experience. So I want to bring up, don't overlook your local Comic-Cons, because sometimes, you have a good time and you meet people you never thought you'd meet at a Comic-Con along the way. But I don't know if you know this, Mike, he was also in the Avatar movies. He wasn't just JP and Grandma's Boy. He was, I pulled it up here because I didn't remember his name, Dr. Norm Spellman in Avatar 2 and Avatar 3. And he actually gets an Avatar body in it's Avatar 1, I think. He's like one of the scientists like training Jake on how to be an Avatar.
Yeah, I think he's been in every Avatar movie.
Yeah.
I do remember him in Fire and Ash. They're always like in a very like supporting role, and it's usually like one scene, or if you're looking at the DVD insert, the one specific chapter, they're kind of isolated. He was getting a little bit of support.
Yeah, he was he was like the doctor in Fire and Ash. Like whenever they needed that. So he was in there, and so our first topic is Avatar Fire and Ash, which is coming to digital on March 31st. So literally on Tuesday. If you haven't had a chance to watch this in theaters in the past 3 months that it's been out, you can check it out on digital March 31st. And we have a home release scheduled, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever you're on, May 19th. So the cool thing for me was they did call it their 3 hours of special features. Mike, I know that's your weakness with the Avatar films specifically, to get just as much special features as they do actual movie. And you watch is it the Corridor Crew where they do the VFX stuff? They do a lot of stuff on Avatar.
Yeah, they won the Oscar the other weekend for Best VFX, which is not surprising, the amount of work that goes into those shots. They highlighted one, it was just this brief shot of one of the flying creatures, and I feel like I should remember the flying creatures' names, but I don't. Just landing in the puddle of water. It's like the scene just before like they almost like murder Spider in the woods, and then everyone starts like collapsing their knees and crying because they're like, "Oh, I almost killed my adopted son." But yeah, when they land in the water, they're in like a creek. Like that's like just like a massive VFX shot from like top to bottom, and it's always funny. You kind of got to watch these breakdowns because we've become so desensitized to visual effects. We just assume that it's easy, and they're just like, no, all these layers of shots, like you don't understand this leaf and this shadow passing here. This has never been physically possible for a computer to render this specific this type of shadow or something like that. Wow, this is amazing.
If you want to hear the phrase ocular occlusion, way as many times as you've ever heard in your entire life, that's what you want to watch. But no, it is cool because they actually will, like, I think they are provided some of the original like composition shots as well to show how they composited everything. And Absolutely great. And the Avatar 3 one, like you said, Fire and Ash is great. Also, I did want to call out, they have the first thing they call it was an English family audio track where all objectionable language is removed as like the very first option. And I'm like, I want to know how, like, have they been doing this for other movies? And I just haven't been paying attention. Like, is this a new thing, or is this something standard that, as someone who doesn't have to think about that, is this is a standard fare?
I have no idea. When my daughter is old enough to visit the lands of Pandora, she's getting it uncensored. She's getting the real version that her father grew up with.
That's right. I can probably see if I can find like an English non-family audio track where they add extra objectionable language in for you.
Yeah,
if you really want to.
But it's it lean into the English. It's like British English.
Oh, yeah.
Swear words.
Yeah.
Just to really season it up a little bit.
They get it. It's like a Carl Urban, get to drop the C word in a little more frequently than you can in America.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But yeah, Avatar: Fire and Ash. If you want to see Joel David Moore's appearance in that, you can get it on digital 31st. They did not have a Disney Plus streaming date, Mike. I think Disney Plus on this might be maybe even June or July. Like, they are not rushing this to streaming.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think I just saw, like, I forgot the number, but Marty Supreme just recently kind of broke a new record for the time between hitting theaters and hitting streaming. It was like a very, very large window. So I think studios are like, yeah, we're not leaving money on the table anymore. We're going to leave this in theaters as long as possible.
Yeah, and we talked about Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man? No, you weren't here. Spider-Man trailer last week. We actually have that in the notes to go over it. Again, Sony's committing to a minimum 60-day theatrical run before anything else. So, like, that's a couple $1 billion movie franchise as well. So, absolutely for sure. Speaking of $1 billion franchises, Mike, Lord of the Rings has another new movie, not The Hunt for Gollum, another new movie announced this week called Shadows of the Past. It is set 14 years after Return of the King, after Frodo has passed into the Undying Lands at the end of the movie on the boat. That is written by Stephen Colbert and his son, Peter McGee, who is also a screenwriter. I didn't know this. That was a new bit of information that I found out. And they said it's essentially, Stephen Colbert said, it's basically the chapter 3 is company, chapter 3, through fog on the Barrow-Downs was chapter 8 of the books, which I think is things that happened on the journey, but this will be set 14 years later, looking back on that adventure. Like a, not a flashback, was it like a retrospective, I guess? Is that what they would call that?
I don't know. I'm so far out of my depth here with Lord of the Rings in general. All I know about this news is that Stephen Colbert is a huge Tolkien nerd.
Yeah.
So I think this is great for him because I feel like this is a good career move. Like, he needed a big splashy announcement, right? Because his late show is ending. So he's just like, I'm not going away. Like, I'm with my son. I'm gonna write a freaking Lord of the Rings movie. Like, the thing I'm probably the most excited about, like, outside of just the comedy and performative world, is Lord of the Rings. So I think that's pretty sick. If I had to overanalyze my opinion on Lord of the Rings, really, I just like the cool stuff in the movies. Usually the narrative is a little too dense for me, I guess, if I wanted to if I wanted to make myself sound like an idiot.
You don't strike me as an extended version person. You're either an extended version person or not. So
I did watch the extended version before, but it had been so long since I had seen the original Lord of the Rings. It was just kind of like, did I just forget this stuff was in the movie, or is this stuff actually new? Now, when I saw the mouth of Sauron, I was like, this guy is new. I would have remembered this mouth for sure in the original films. But I think of, like, the Rings of Power, right? When I watched the first season on Amazon, I just have, like, no idea what's going on. Like, I didn't even know that the old wizard dude was Gandalf, and I'm sure it was telegraphed like no one's business. Like, hello, old man, magic powers. Obviously, it's Gandalf. I'm like, I'm sure this world is full of old men with magic powers. It kind of seems like it breeds them, like, all the time. So that being said, I'm on the good end of this, where, like, it doesn't really matter whether it goes good or bad. Because I'll just wait and I'll watch.
Yeah, well, that's the same. I think we have one of those digital channels where it's all the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies back to back. The thing I missed most about the Lord of the Rings movies versus the Hobbit films was the practical effects, right? Everything kind of got over CG'd and kind of rushed there kind of in the 2011, 2012 era. But at the same time, I'm like, to me, take this as you will, the first three Lord of the Rings films are kind of like the Godfather films. It's like, no one's going to remake those. We're just going to keep referring back to them for years as like really great movies. So the fact that they're trying to, it's not a legacy sequel. This is like, it's like a sequel, but it's going to go back and tell the stories of like, Sam and Pippin like talking about that adventure. But like it says here in the notes, Sam's daughter Elanor has discovered a long buried secret. It is determined to uncover why the War of the Ring was nearly lost before it even began. So I don't even know what this thing's about. I'm not going to go Googling it. But, I am, to be transparent of this and the Hunt for Gollum films, I'm more excited for this movie than a Gollum movie, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think this sounds more like a fun little journey in Hobbiton, which is way more aesthetically pleasing than the wherever caves and rivers Gollum's bopping around with some orcs and trolls in. So, but anyway, Stephen Colbert, yes, and his son Peter Colbert, aka McGee, I think he was in was an actor in some of the Hobbit films as well. So, runs in the family. Moving on to is this controversial? I don't know why. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the TV series being made by HBO Max, has a new trailer showing off the series for the first time, and its release date December 2026, which is a calendar year earlier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a 2027 release, but a lot of Harry Potter movies remind me of Christmas for some reason. I think, is it because they'll have Christmas scenes, maybe?
And the John Williams score, I think, makes you think of like Home Alone and that connection.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, did you watch this trailer with your wife alongside of it? Because if people don't know, Chris and I historically through the podcast recount how we are not Potterheads, but our wives are extreme Potterheads. So I was kind of curious if you got your wife's reaction on the trailer at all, because I got mine.
I have her statement, but not her reaction.
Okay, what's her statement?
She says, "I'll watch this as long as we pirate it. I don't want to give any money to J.K. Rowling." And I was like, "All right, fair enough." That was the only, she's like, she's like, it's tricky one of these situations where Harry Potter itself is a story about good and evil and acceptance and all this other stuff, but the writer behind it's an awful person. So you're like, well, what do you do in this situation? Because the story is really good and doesn't reflect actually anything the writer did, but the writer is just an awful person in real life. So what do you do in this situation, Mike? Like, it's really, it's tearing.
Yeah, this show is really going to pressure test removing the art from the artist argument for sure. I don't really know exactly where I stand on it, but I think pirating sounds like maybe a good idea. I remember when the Harry Potter game came out, I was kind of going through the mental gymnastics of just like, how do I try this out? I was like, do I just wait until I can get a used copy of it? Which is not hard for me because I wait so long to play games before they come out anyway.
It's true.
But
I can't confirm.
But if we have to judge this show just purely based on what we're seeing with our eyeballs and pull it out of context, which is very difficult to do in the day and age that we live, my wife reacted extremely similarly to me, actually, where the trailer wrapped and we both kind of felt like it feels almost like a Temu or off-brand version of Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily because like the visuals look bad, but it's just like so close but different, right? It's like when you go into like the 99-cent store or Dollar Tree and you're looking at like a really weird like Spider-Man on like a 99-cent cup, and it's like, yeah, I guess it kind of looks like Spider-Man, but this is a really like bottom of the barrel art asset that they licensed.
See, I disagree. I think this is looking at a Tobey Maguire versus Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Like, to me, is how I would look at it, because like the books are so like they describe everything so visually perfectly, like you can't really deviate from that description very hardly. Like that's the hard part, because like they did such a good job, and I'm like, oh, if it was just like, yeah, they rode a train in, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they just rode a train, but like that's how the trains and like they described it looked.
Yeah, I'm hoping there was one shot of inside of Hogwarts, I think, and it was very brief, or maybe it was looking up at a ceiling. And I was like, okay, this looks a little visually different, but most of the other shots were like very iconic. It is kind of one of those things where they did such a good job, they've kind of cursed any other adaptation,
And
really, because
yeah,
because I do like your Spider-Man analogy, but it is slightly different because Spider-Man like resides in New York City. So like you just put a camera in front of New York City and that problem is solved there, but you can update and adapt like the suit in different ways.
yeah.
So I guess maybe you could change some of the costuming on the characters. I mean, there was a shot of like the herbology kind of classroom, and that looked visually different. But I think that classroom already kind of changed like between the original movies anyway, so it always wasn't the same.
And
But I am kind of I am
yeah.
curious overall. I feel like, this is an interesting, like, Chris, you're a marketer. You love A/B testing things. This feels like an A/B test to me of just like what's going to end up being better, divulging a book into a whole season or distilling it down to one
Yeah.
movie, right? So
Well,
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
the other thing is, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. The only reason it's so similar is because they've already built all the Harry Potter lands at the parks, and they don't want to redo all the parks and everything that people associate with the parks, because it's visually done, and we want to kind of keep it similar but different at the same time without having to revamp everything.
Honestly, I haven't thought about that before because, yeah, no one's remaking Star Wars, right? They're
Yes.
just adding on top of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
Lord of the Rings,
I mean,
right? It's like you're not rebuilding Lord of the Rings. You're not, it's so close, but like, how much money do you spend marketing wise to redo everything to make it look new along the way?
yeah, maybe I would hope they could at least approach maybe visually what does magic look like when something blasts out of the wand. Maybe let's take a different interpretation of what that looks like. When it gets to the Patronuses in later seasons, maybe we can visually render those more uniquely.
Yeah.
So maybe those are going to be their chances
And-
to kind of plus it up.
The one thing I miss about 2001, because we're on the topic here, is I miss the merchandise blitz from like the Phantom Menace all the way through Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Like, you remember like the frosted cups you get at the McDonald's or Burger King, like when you could buy, like you buy them separately, or like all the
yeah, you
all the
couldn't buy-
candy and stuff you get from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was like a decade where you couldn't find a plain, normal can of Dr. Pepper. There was always a character on it.
That's true, very much so. So I do miss that stuff, but overall, again, I think it's just me getting older. The kids don't look unique. They don't look like they have standout features. Like, I guess like how I remember, like when you look back at the original thing, every character, like, I don't know if it's just how the makeup or cameras were filmed back then, for practical use, but like everybody looked unique and like could stand out in a crowd. I couldn't pick these three kids out of a lineup, who are the main kids, to be completely honest. And I don't know if that's just hey, old man Dillard, get off your, soapbox, or if it's just like, hey, because we film things differently, or because we want kids to view themselves in this role, to be part of the story, we made them look a little more generic as well. But overall, we are not Potterheads. We're just along for the ride with everybody else around us. But
Yeah. I think there's one thing that we can say for absolute certainty, that if this show existed before the movies, our opinions would be 100% different, right? Because
Yeah.
we have to filter everything through the 8 extremely successful movies that came before it. So
And again, I'm just gonna give him credit for filming 8 movies with the same like main actors through all of them. Like they hardly had to swap anybody out. They were able to get it done and kind of go with the actors as they aged up. They were able to turn them around and still make good films out of them. So kudos to them for that. And I'm interested to see how they'll do here, because kind of as we have seen, we talked about with Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Because they waited too long on Netflix between season 1 and 2, the kid just grew up, who's Aang. So how fast are they going to be cranking these out to do more? Like,
I think
like season 2 is like they're just going to be filming this nonstop for the next 7 years.
well, I think I saw a headline last week that said don't expect these on a yearly cadence.
Oh, really?
I think maybe it's too it's too large of an undertaking. Maybe it's kind of like Game of Thrones-esque, where it's going to be more on a
just throw AI
year
at
and a
it.
half, 2-year schedule.
Just throw AI at it. It'll be fine.
I think they're going to run into the Stranger Things problem.
Well,
because if they're supposed to be going technically 7 seasons,
yeah.
right, and it takes them 2 years, that's 14 years. Like these kids are definitely going to be in their 20s by the time this is over.
Well, and who's to say the new Lords of Warner Brothers HBO won't run out of money because they spend all of their fake money to buy Warner Brothers. So
absolutely possible.
It's a mystery, but anyway, trailer link in the notes. I want to talk about Alan Ritchson real fast, Mike, because I sent it to you. You didn't know anything about this. So Alan Ritchson, a video appeared on TMZ of Alan Ritchson just beating a normal dude, beating the daylights out of this guy. And if there's someone in the real life I would not want to fight on the street, Alan Ritchson's pretty up on that list, like top 3, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think he just plays that in the shows. I think he would whoop our ass hands down in a fight. And then it come to find out like this neighbor in his neighborhood like literally pushed him off his motorcycle while his sons were behind him, like because he didn't like him riding his motorcycle up and down the neighborhood he lived in. So I sent you the body cam footage of literally this guy like just being a Karen in the road, and I just want to give everyone the all clear. The police has said Alan Ritchson acted in self-defense, so he is cleared of all charges. So he could still become a Batman. He's not got anything to worry about going back.
If anything, this might have helped his chances, right? Like he will deliver street justice, which is exactly what our Cape Crusader does. Yeah, this was exciting because the first clip that came out was a different angle, and TMZ just posted it like right as Alan was laying the smackdown. So you just watch it and you go like, oh, he's just punching some defenseless man on the sidewalk. It's like, nope, he was defending himself, and and he's gigantic. Last week, I just saw pictures of him right next to Henry Cavill on that one movie that they did. I have no idea what it was called.
The it's Ungentlemanly Warfare or whatever it is. It's not League of Ungentlemanly Warfare, but yeah.
Something like that. But I hope James Gunn saw it and was like, yes, this will be a great Batman.
Yeah, he's already doing Batman shit out there. We don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
So absolutely, if people have any questions, that's why you can. That's water cooler talk for you, right there. For you Ritchson fans. The Mummy, the 3rd movie, which is technically the 4th movie, but they're going to ignore the 3rd movie. John Hannah has signed on to return as Jonathan Carnahan, the brother to Evie, Rachel Weisz's Evie, in the upcoming movie. I think we said this early on. John Hannah has to come back. He's such a great part of that, the comedic role. He's smart when he needs to be. He's a little philanderer, if you will, with the ladies. Always self-serving. I think he's drunk in the first movie where he's shooting the guns when the camp is being overrun by the one team on horses. But yeah, glad he's coming back. I think it's a great addition. Any thoughts on that?
Yep, we got what we need here. We got the 3. We got the trio. It would be great to get some of the other cast around it. Obviously, they could recast the son from the 2nd movie extraordinarily,
or just
easily.
don't use him.
But I think, yeah, exactly. You could just like, oh, he's off on the other side of the planet doing something else, and this is still a timeline in which travel is not super easy. Though I'm trying to recall, did the movie take place in the 20s? Was it post or pre-World War I? I don't remember.
I don't know when. I think it was like pre 23.
So
after World War I.
So if it's been, oh wow, so this movie will probably take place in the 50s, I guess, if we have to explain, everyone getting older.
Yeah,
might be interesting.
They might see Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones flying back in time.
Somebody might get in a refrigerator and get bombed. We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're not in America. That's the thing. Like, I want to see them out and about. But anyway, regardless, this movie's reality is coming to fruition. So very, very excited for that to pop up. This week, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is coming out. Mike, despite the fact you think the first one's just mid, you also admitted the second one's going to make so much money. So much money at the box office.
I can easily admit a movie is not my cup of tea, but also has the ability to generate so much revenue. I just started thinking about it. I mean, the casting announcement this week, they're really stoking the flames on this one. And I just started thinking, like, if Zootopia 2 can hit almost like 2 billion worldwide, right? Like, I don't see how the Super Mario movie like can't achieve this. It's a sequel. It's coming off the heels of an extremely successful first movie. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that indicates that this wouldn't perform better, right? I don't think there's any controversy surrounding the film. There's, if anything,
they've really buried Chris Pratt as Mario's voice, but that's about it.
Oh yeah, I guess. And every year that grows, there's only more Mario fans in general. So I think this has everything in its recipe to. I think I guessed slightly conservatively. I didn't want to say 2 billion out loud. I said like 1.9, which would put it just over Zootopia 2. But I would not be shocked if this one hits 2 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
The first one I think was 1.3 ish, somewhere in there. But this casting announcement, the rumors were true. The foot and holster that we saw was real.
Yeah. So essentially, for people who may not know, we did last week, 2 weeks ago, we got confirmation Yoshi, Wart, and a couple other people were in this. This week, Star Fox, or Fox McCloud from Star Fox himself, is confirmed to be in this movie. Probably replacing Donkey Kong. I haven't seen Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong in any media as well. And will be voiced by, actor Glenn Powell. I was trying to figure out what to describe, but Glenn Powell, who's been in like the Running Man, he's in everything right now. So Glenn Powell is voicing Star Fox in this upcoming movie, which is it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's fine. I'm excited to this. I don't know much about Star Fox other than the games, like the gameplay, like the flying and stuff like that. But so it seems like since the Galaxy movie's in space, he would probably be here, right? So,
yeah, I'm pretty surprised that this wasn't left as like a surprise in the film. But if they are getting media cycles out of announcing Donald Glover as the voice of Yoshi, I think they are intentionally. I don't think they care if anything's spoiled. They're like, we are going to make a juggernaut, and we're going to do it however we need to do it.
It's a kids movie. Like there are no spoilers in a kids movie for me, right? Like this is for the children. This announcement and the one with Donald Glover and Luis Guzman are essentially for the parents, saying like, hey, we know you may not want to go to the Mario movie, but we have actors you've heard of playing characters you might have grown up with in this movie as well.
I keep seeing the rumors, or at least the predictions of a Super Smash Brothers movie, and I mean, I don't think anything narratively going on in the first movie, or maybe even at the second movie, points to any sort of finesse. But I don't know how you make a Super Smash Brothers into a movie. I mean, we always talk about how hard it is just to turn Mortal Kombat into a movie. Yeah. And like Smash Brothers are fighting like a big hand, So, I mean, I guess they could probably make it work.
They could easily figure that, like, if they're doing the pipes and the worlds, like, them fighting a magic hand doesn't do it, but like, they've already teased the Super Smash Brothers movie when he was fighting Donkey Kong in the first one, right? Like, they've already kind of, teed some of this stuff up, but I don't even know the plot of this movie coming up here. I just know Mario versus Bowser is all I know, and I'm like, that's Mario. That lines with what I know. So, would you want to what is the next? Since this is Super Mario, what is the next? Was it Super Mario Sunshine? Is that the next movie title? Like, where do you go from here? Because that's what I don't know yet.
Yeah, it's like they're going to space. I don't know. Maybe they'll do like. I do not know the plot or story to Odyssey. All I know is there's a level where he like actually goes to a city and there's like human beings and he's going up skyscrapers, which is very bizarre for me.
New Donk City, even at that is what it's called.
Yeah, which feels so. I don't know. Maybe they'll do something where they'll blend the real world with like this like fantasy world, and they have to like.
Is that what the dinosaur? Is that the dinosaur in this? Isn't there a dinosaur from Odyssey's in the trailer, so they may have already be doing that.
Because he's got the little hat on his head.
Yeah.
That's right. See, this is what happens when two people try to discuss any sort of like narrative through line for a video game like Mario.
Yeah.
The plots in the games are as thin as possible. It's just they construct it just enough so you can just play a video game, which I appreciate because it makes it an extremely approachable game. But they could do oh God, what is the one that I played where it was like a spin-off video game where like Bowser becomes like gigantic? Bowser's Fury?
Yeah, that
Is
was
what it
that was 3D Mario Land, which it's from 3D Mario. And that's just the expansion to 3D Mario Land, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
games, by the way. But they've already done the cat suits and everything with that, the pipes. But like it doesn't matter. It's like the whole point of the game is Mario versus Bowser, save Princess Peach. So like whatever you construct around that, like you said, is what we're gonna get at the end of the day for these. But to me, like Sunshine was an interesting spin-off game because they had to clean up it was like a cleanup thing.
goo?
Yeah. Allegedly, it couldn't be Dr. Mario because Dr. Mario's a different character. That might be their older brother in this one. But I can see them like if the Sonic movies have 4 films, they can easily find a way to make this work without really us trying to come up with it. So when it hits that $2 billion, Mike predicts, we'll know when that third one's coming out. I'll tell you that right now. They'll waste no time spinning that studio back up to get it going. So we'll keep you guys posted. But what about, speaking of video games, Jumanji 3 is moving its release date up from December 11th to December 25th. Moving, I guess, backwards, not up, to avoid the Doomsday scenario of Avengers Doomsday and Dune 3. Now, my thought process, I have a theory behind this that goes into my Avengers Doomsday. Mike, do you care if I wax poetic for a second here?
A wax poetic, my friend.
If Sony, who is a partner with Marvel right now, removes Jumanji 3 from having its second weekend eaten by Doomsday and Dune 3 by moving it backwards, that frees up the December 11th release. So Doomsday could move up to December 11th as a partnership with Sony because of Spider-Man and all this other fun stuff. That gives them 1 week earlier announcement, which is awesome for fans. And 2, IMAX screens are exclusively locked down to Dune 3 screenings after the movie comes out. So this gives them 1 full week of IMAX screens that could help boost the performance of this film. I think it's
Chris,
I think it's a move behind the scenes, but we won't know yet. But I think that'll be what happens next. Is Doomsday moving forward.
I do not hate the waxing poetic of your conspiratorial mind. I would love to know, do we have any big movies over the Thanksgiving holiday this year at all? That's what I'm curious, because we know in the past, Marvel is no stranger to shifting up release dates for hype. I think they literally have done it for an Avengers movie in the past where I think it was supposed to be like a May release and it like came out like the end of April or something like that. So they have this trick up their sleeve already. Ooh. I wouldn't be shocked, and I would actually be very, very happy if somehow they were able to pivot and release on Thanksgiving holiday. Like they would probably do some sort of big media blitz around it, be like, oh, it's coming even sooner now, or maybe they're really just playing chicken. Well, I guess really they don't have to, because if Dune has the exclusive contract for the IMAX screens, and I don't understand why Disney would want to leave money on the table, right? Yeah. With what they could have got with IMAX screens on Doomsday. Or like, I don't know, maybe they think the synergistic effect of Doomsday will just make up for any lack of screens that they couldn't get. No. I don't know, Chris. Yeah. But I think at least maybe one way to mitigate that is moving it up like a week.
Yeah, 1 week. Maybe 1 week's pretty good. That'll give them both time to breathe a little bit, because people who are going to see both these movies, that's a pretty close circle. Like, that's not a Venn diagram. That's a pretty close circle. Now, mind you, Dune 3 looks way more off the beaten path than Doomsday will, but we've not seen a full Doomsday trailer. I did look it up. So the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping is November 20th, which I don't think is a threat to Marvel. Walt Disney owns Hexed on November 25th, which is the Thanksgiving week as well. And the next day is Narnia, the Magician's Nephew from Greta Gerwig, and Madden with Christian, or not Christian, but Nicolas Cage is that same day as well. So I don't think there's anything huge in here other than if Disney decided to move Hexed around.
I mean, that I feel like that could be a possibility. That's something that they have total control over. So
because they've already put the flags in the ground. They just got to take it. But I think it's the week more than the actual, because like I think they're just going to do the week rather than the month, because I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with theaters to lock stuff in. But that's my thought process, Mike. Because the other problem is Frozen 3 is November or Thanksgiving 2027, so they'd have to swap Frozen and probably Secret Wars if they wanted to. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. I want to hear more about this later, but like I think we'll definitely get some news sooner than later. Moving on, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Mike. We talked about the trailer last week when you were sick, but the Korean trailers have removed the web shooters from the bus scene, or maybe they added them in America. I don't know which way it is. But there's that scene where that girl who looks a lot like Rogue, because they're X-Men baitiness on this trailer.
Oh yeah.
Is there? He doesn't have web shooters. Keith David is the voiceover. He's probably playing the Jackal, who is known for cloning, who created Ben Reilly essentially in the animated show season 2, which we talked about. They also has 1.1 billion views so far, making it the biggest trailer ever, beating everything. Mike, you didn't get us to give it your personal thoughts on it. What did you think of Spider-Man Brand New Day?
It was hype. Our household was all over it. It dropped in the morning, at least over here on the West Coast. So just before we took the kid to daycare, we all sat down on the couch, and I put on the Spider-Man trailer. And the most adorable, cutest thing happened. As soon as the trailer was done, my daughter got off the couch, unprompted, walked over to her toy basket and grabbed this like 12-inch Spider-Man toy that we have in there, and so it's like she just knew. She's already like Spider-Man pilled. Yep. Like we weren't even like constantly saying like Spider-Man, but she just like she recognized the character on the screen was her toy, and she went and grabbed it, and she was excited. And then a couple days later, when we were scrolling through YouTube, I think to find like a Miss Rachel video for her, she saw the thumbnail for the Spider-Man trailer again, and specifically requested it. We watched it 2 more times, like in a row. So like the household here, we are hyped. I always constantly forget that the Spider-Man movies are like pretty much my favorite Marvel movies. Like whenever we're thinking about the MCU, I'm always thinking about like Winter Soldier, Civil War, the first Avengers movie, right? I always exclude Spider-Man. I don't know if it's the split custody or what the deal is, but they're always amazing. Destin Daniel Cretton is directing this one, which is exciting because our household also loved Wonder Man. Well, at least my wife and I, the daughter sleeps when we watched that one.
She loved it. I talked to her, and she said after, he's doing Spider-Man, so she had to watch it to stay.
Great. It took me like an entire week to come up with this theory totally on my own, because I have not indulged myself with any fan theories. And boy, the thing that this trailer has generated was not only fan theories, but people's reaction to people having fan theories. I just saw a bunch of people go like, oh, here we go again. I didn't even realize the previous Spider-Man movies would like generate all of these like conspiratorial like plotting for what is going to happen in the movie. So I was like, we were left out of that because we just do it live here on the podcast. But, you know, you have all of this mind control happening in the trailer, which I guess we could assume is Jean Grey. No official announcement yet, but it kind of seems like something like that is happening.
I do want to call out that Jean Grey has never had to zip her conscience between people before. So it is interesting, but not a choice as outside of Jean Grey's, but I've never seen that before in her moves. But continue.
Yeah. But we did see Big Daddy Bruce in this, which even if you kind of ignore the existence of like some merch out in the wild or like movie theater soda cups, it seems like you don't show me a Bruce and don't give me a Hulk. in a feature film. But I've been thinking like, well, how do we get Bruce to go Hulk, and how do we get Hulk to go bad? Well, there's mind control in the trailer. I feel like maybe that's how we get our Hulk into that situation, because he's so like tied up, he's so like buttoned up now. Like Bruce like has total control over this green guy. Like they are one and the same. So I was like, how do we get him to go bad? So it's probably going to be whatever this mind control is. But yeah, obviously super hyped. I am not fully convinced they are going to go full like mutated man spider. I don't know if they have it in them. Everything's telegraphing it, of like, oh, spiders have 3 life cycles, and they have to go through them to end up different on the other side. So everything's telegraphing, right? And I would love to see the man spider, but I don't know, something in me is just telling me that we ain't seeing it.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, well, there's the one shot with his eyes, which tells me that it may get close. But I also, for me, and what I suggest, whenever he wakes up in that webbing cocoon, like he's tearing his way out of the webbing right in the trailer, I don't think he goes to sleep as a man spider. I do think that maybe something maybe closer to the end if he is mutating, but that he's not coming out mutated. I think the mutation continues along, possibly. And maybe not. But I if they want to go full body horror, they've done horror before with Spider-Man. And Far From Home, when Mysterio hit him with like the zombie Iron Man and all the other creepy stuff. Like they're no stranger to doing some weird things in Spider-Man. So if they want to, that's great. Because after this movie, guess what? It's probably that soft reboot, Mike, and none of it matters. So. Go big or go home, but Spider-Man, I'm probably gonna go big. They tend to do fairly well on here with that. So yeah, as we get more of this, we'll let you guys know. But we are within the 4-month window for Spider-Man Brand New Day. We have April, May, June, and then at the end of July, we're gonna be able to wrap the summer up, or at least maybe the middle of the summer with I think school summer, because my wife's a teacher, with Spider-Man along the way. But before we get there, we have confirmation that Frank Castle, the Punisher, One Last Kill special presentation. That's his official title. Is coming May 12th. Mike, we are 6 weeks away from seeing Frank Castle return. As Frank Castle searches for meaning beyond revenge, an unexpected force pulls him back into the fight. So we know the Punisher is coming in Brand New Day. We knew they were filming this one shot. He made his reappearance in Daredevil Born Again Season 1. So with this, the release confirms that the May 12th was Daredevil Season 2's last day. But as we talked about off air, Daredevil Season 2, like one of the weeks is doing a double episode to make up for this. So that's cool. I mean, this is I thought we would get this before Spider-Man. I didn't think we'd get it so soon along the way. Any thoughts on this?
Did you get a chance to watch Daredevil last week?
No,
season premiere?
I did not. That's the one thing we've not been able to actually catch up on right now. But we will have it done by the time we get to One Last Kill for the Punisher.
I won't spoil anything, even though I don't feel like there's anything specific in that first episode that's spoilery. But it feels more cohesive. That first season we talked about how it was like the victim of reshoots and re-strategy and cutting room floor stuff. This feels like maybe they're on a better path. And I gave my wife the final decision of whether she wanted to watch it with me or without me. And she was sold with the first episode, so she'll keep watching.
And that's what I've heard from reviews. People are like, yeah, the first one's fine, but like, and still good, but like this is even way better. Like it's written from the ground up to be one big story. So very, very excited to kind of see what goes on with this season. And we just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. I think I don't know if I mentioned on the show. My wife's in a wedding next week, so. The final 2 weeks before a wedding is like when everything's got to kind of come together. So that is how it is right here. But anyway, Punisher One Last Kill, May 12th. We'll talk about it when it comes out. It's hour long. Speaking of special presentations, I guess, or what do they call Wonder Man? Was it a Marvel Presents? I think is what they initially called it. Season 2 has been confirmed by Marvel Television. So they are making season 2. main actors, Simon Williams, Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, are returning. Des and Daniel Cretton to return as director. Probably not all the episodes, probably some of them, and executive producer. And Andrew Guest as showrunner and executive producer. So that show ended. I was like, there's no way they can make a season 2 out of this. But sounds like they found a way. They've greenlit it. And I think in a year and a half, maybe 2 years, we'll be watching Wonder Man season 2, Mike. Pick up where we left off.
I guess it gets upgraded from special presentation to just normal series.
It could be a special presentation season 2. But maybe. I like the idea of not having to watch. Well, I agreed. I like the idea of like the only thing you have to watch for this is season 1. You don't have to watch the other stuff. Sure, it'd be great if you knew where Trevor came from, but they keep it tight. I do think the idea of maybe is it post soft reboot of Marvel? Is it just another day in the life of Hollywood? We don't have to worry about the bigger stuff. I think that's going to be the more important part for me, because their camaraderie, their screen chemistry between these two guys, and their story of Hollywood. It was just so fun. It was so tight and like narrow focused. I want to see more of this, and maybe they're filming the second movie in that season, Mike, of Wonder Man, so we can see if that plays in any of this along the way. Nothing else with that. So we're gonna wrap it up here. We're at the end of the show. We're gonna talk about One Piece Into the Grand Line, part 2 of season 2. So episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8. We talked about 1 through 4 last time. I'm just gonna go ahead and say full spoilers, Mike. We don't need to. If we're already talking about the back half, we assume you've watched the first half. So I guess this is my way to say go watch the show. I'm gonna go ahead and say I enjoyed One Piece season 1. I enjoyed One Piece Into the Grand Line. Just more of the same for me. So go watch it and then you can come back and listen to our part 2 review discussion along the way, if you will. To me, Mike, the biggest thing of part 2, episodes 4, 5, or I guess 5, 6, 7, 8 is episode 5 is a continuation of episode 4, where we get to see more of the Baroque works doing their weird, goofy stuff along the way. And 5, 6, 7, and 8 is essentially the Drum Island arc, where we learn about Tony Chopper in Drum Island. And was it King? Not the king. He wasn't a king, was he? He's king something.
I think technically he was a king. I guess it depends on if you lose your kingdom, are you still technically a king?
Do you are you recognized by the crown there? But episode 4. Let's talk about 4 before we get into 5, 6, or 5 instead of 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do that so many times.
So 4 was part 2 of the jungle giant island, right?
Yeah. So the jungle giants, the Baroque works, the wax man with his big candle, cake that did that.
It's just like peak. It's like peak One Piece cartoon live action. Like everything about this too. Like number 3 making like wax duplicates of himself, and then like Luffy doing the dumbest thing where he's just like he finally gets down to like 2 of them, right? Where we are left to perceive that one of these is the real one, and he only punches one. It's like, you have 4 limbs. You easily could have punched both of these.
You just punched 20 of them. You just punched 20 of them right before in one punch. You could easily do it. Yeah. But it is very like stereotypical, like anime. Like, yeah, of course he's gonna choose the wrong one.
Yeah. And there's like, I finally got an explanation from the trailer of what that giant cake was for, because I was like, how do they make this make sense? This is weird. Mm-hmm. It makes a lot more sense now that I know it's made out of wax.
Yeah,
and why it's in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah. We saw early, I guess it was up in episode 4, there's like a big T-Rex and some dinosaurs there. So, and the giants, I thought they killed the giants, Mike. I thought both giants were dead going into this.
I know. I was super bummed, which is hilarious, because I'm sure anybody who watches the anime are just like, these fools thinking that anybody dies in this show.
Yeah. Well, thinking that giants are such, so easily taken down. But they did do a really cool thing where they threw their weapons through the water and split that big fish in half while they were sailing away at the end of the island there. And I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. You don't get to see that every day on a TV show. This is also where we got to see the little the little otter and the, I guess, buzzards scenes.
the coolest part of the episode because Sanji is like my favorite character.
Yeah.
And then the fight scene was also just interpreted it hilariously. Like it basically happened off camera in that little wax house. You just see them like flying from like left or right side. And I was like, this is a great episode.
He snapped the neck of the bird with his legs, doing that typical like, oh, I can't see him. Where's he? He's like down here, and the camera just tilts down, and it like snaps the legs of snaps the neck of him with his legs, and then obviously he fights that damn otter over the. I thought you loved that snail, like with the big mustache, and then there's like a one with a cigar. I'm like, oh, Mike gets his snails in full force here at the end of this. I thought they were just like a one-off thing at the beginning, but no, they bring the snails back. But he fights that otter in the background like a puppet, like kind of thing, like fighting, like the everything going crazy. I love that part of it. The giants, the wax man. What else? Anything else on that? Is that where they? No, I was trying to think if there's anything else on that. That was a good one to end on. The dinosaur meat. They're eating the dinosaur meat, right? That was a great way to say like, oh, princess, I can't even think of her name now, with the teal hair. We're gonna go with you. Like, we're all eating dinosaur meat together. We're going with you. And then that's when they go to the last 3 episodes, which is one big story of Drum Island, where we get I can't think of the actress's name. She voices Leela. She was in Married with Children, she's in Sons of Anarchy. She's the crazy doctor. These are anime doctors through and through, Mike. We get to see one guy with like with his like hair in like a plus shape, and he's always wearing hats, and she's got the straight hair and the goggles. I'm like, these are anime doctors brought to life. They're eccentric. They don't believe anything. They laugh at each other. They're mean. And then it was so fun to see them actually just nail that anime aesthetic in real life.
Yeah, the jadedness also.
Oh yeah,
both directions of like what happens if your king starts rounding up all of the doctors and imprisoning them. Yeah, you'll probably get 2 different outcomes. One doctor wants to save them, and the other one's just nihilistic and is trying to save their ass. But yeah, this back half of the season absolutely defined by Tony Chopper, which was a grand surprise for me, Chris, because I forgot he was in this season. I mean, obviously he was in the trailers and he was announced, and we knew who the voice actress was going to be, so it was all there. But all of a sudden we're like in this Dr. Witch's castle, and then like Tony Chopper comes out of the corner. I was like, oh shit, I forgot this guy was in it.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I don't know if the anime or the manga made people cry, but this made me cry. They had an entire episode dedicated to just ripping your heart out.
Oh yeah.
And it was brutal. I mean, I guess it makes sense Tony Chopper comes from the origin of a devil fruit, because that seems to be like everything.
Yeah. The human fruit, by the way, that turns anything it eats into a human, human-esque, if you will.
And then I also it took me a while to remember, oh yeah, this character is supposed to shapeshift. So when it finally happens and it's this like live action thing, I was like, this is so funny, because it's like it's fiscally conservative to just put somebody in a suit. And like they do their best, right, to make it look like it's the same character, and it helps that the voice actor carries through as well. But like, man, does it kind of look a little silly, but I love that it looks so silly.
Well, the first time he transforms, he turns into a full deer, and I'm like, okay, they're just gonna do this, like, he transforms off screen, you don't see a lot of it, like, the next thing he's a deer. And I forgot he had the human, like the big beast form as well. I was like, then he shows up and he looks like the fucking Cat in the Hat on steroids. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening here? But in a good way. Like, I'm like, oh, this feels like One Piece world. Like, if you were like, yeah, I saw this next to everybody else, like the clown guy who blows to bits. This is next one. Absolutely believe that. And I just Tony Jumper, it's one of those characters who's just like so full of tragedy, and I am so happy is the wrong word. I'm glad they didn't show his journey to get the magic mushroom, or the healing mushroom. That really wasn't magic, where he killed the dude because the guy was too nice to tell him it's a poisonous mushroom.
That feels like a whole episode arc, right?
Several episodes.
Like that's probably like 5 episodes in the anime. Yeah. And it's just I love the villain too, Wapple. I can totally see. I can see the rendered cartoon version. I can see the origin without ever seeing it before,
Yeah.
right? When he eats the devil fruit and like his whole freaking face turns into like the beak of a camel,
Yeah.
almost of what it looks like, and then there's people walking out of it. I was like, this is nuts. This is absolutely
And
anime inspired. And he was a proper villain. Like when he slaps the child
yeah,
version of was what
the
do we call her, Miss
princess something.
Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this guy's got to go down. He's got to go down hard.
Yeah.
And of course, he, quote unquote, dies off screen. So we're going to be seeing this dude again, just like we saw all of the other villain
No,
pirates in episode one, season two.
he landed in the water. When you have a devil fruit, you can't swim. He's dead. He's dead. I
Did
get.
he at-
I heard the
I
water
don't think he landed
splash.
in the-
I thought I heard the water
Oh,
splash.
well, it could have been a moat. It could have been non-seawater,
Yeah.
possibly.
Oh well. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. But I love like the guy. Like they built this metal mouth on this dude. Like and the way it moves, I believe. Like it doesn't feel like there's a voice coming, like the voice is separated, like it was recorded separately. It feels like it's coming off this dude the way it moves, and I'm like, is that practical? How much of this is enhanced with effects, or at the end of the day? Because it just looks like I didn't even think twice about it. I like once you saw it move once and talk, I'm like, yep, looks like Robotnik from a Sonic game. He's absolutely a villain. He's too large.
Yeah, or like something out of like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then oh my God, Chris, the moment that broke me, that just made me cry tears of happiness is when Zorro puts Tony on his shoulder.
Oh
in
yeah.
like one of the last scenes on the. I was like, oh my God, this show has everything going for it. Like if they can pull these emotional moments out of this this is like crying at the Batman and Robin movie, right? I can't imagine any scene being constructed with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, like making me cry, even though that character should theoretically be the one Batman character that makes you cry. But they're making it happen in this, and it's wild. And I totally also
well that
like,
scene.
forgot
Go ahead.
I was gonna weave into something else. So what else?
Oh, I was gonna say that scene's very reminiscent of Guardians 2 at the end, like the funeral for the Yondu, like where everyone's kind of like I was like I like this, like, but like it's bittersweet in a happy way, right? Now they have a medic on their team and stuff like that. But sorry, continue along with this, because again,
I mean,
this show's so everywhere. I can't even draw a straight line to talk about it.
I mean, with the joy of also forgetting things that we've announced already on the show, like I forgot Joe Manganiello.
Oh yeah,
was going to be in this, and then I was really disappointed too, because I feel like a lot of the times in anime, when it's a long overarching plot, right? I was like, it's probably going to be seasons and seasons before we know who the hell Mr. Zero is. Like they're going to stretch this out so far, and then I was really happy to see that we got the reveal at the end. Of the second season of who Mr. Zero is. I was like, okay, finally, this doesn't have to be like shrouded in mystery anymore. And then also, the Baroque works could just be the Raditz of the One Piece universe, right? Because we were so unfamiliar with it. Yeah, this could just be a blip in the chronology of Luffy and his pirate ship. So it's just Chris. I'm just glad it ended strong. It ended so strong. If I had to criticize it in any way, I would say I just wanted more of it. It just felt short. It's like we got into the Grand Line, we visited like a couple gimmicky islands, and then we kind of got a big story beat where we added, another crew member, and then it was just done and over with. We really didn't get a whole lot more of Smoker. He went to like one outpost, and that was about it. So it didn't feel like we had a lot more going on. So it seems like season 3 is going to be them in that Alabasta.
Yeah. I think that'll be probably some of it and some other stuff. I do want to. We are live, so people don't know on YouTube. So I want to give a shout out to. I think the name's Chris. Who Dat for Life Chris said he's glad to answer any One Piece questions we have. So head over to YouTube if you want to talk to him.
See, the problem is I have a million questions, but I don't want them answered. I love just blissfully going into this.
I agree as well. It's to me to the point. Like I think the one thing is like Hopefully Tony Chopper grows up a bit, because the crying kind of like, he was such a sad character. I'm like, I need a little more happiness to end this
Chris,
on.
I have a feeling that's his like archetype.
Oh,
Like,
no.
'cause the big emotional like crying that he did. All
Yeah.
I saw on social media was like side by side shots
I
of
sent
him
you one
from
of
the
it.
anime.
I sent you one
Yeah,
doing that too. Yeah, so I think that's
I don't think
there.
that's changing. I think he is. I think he's just a raw nerve, and like
Yeah.
anytime he stubs his toe, that's gonna happen. So just buckle up.
Yeah, so we got that. Yeah, I think it'll be fun to see kind of where this goes and how it goes along. Yeah, they did see some stuff for the bigger things, like the guy in episode 1 who stopped
Oh,
Smoker.
the dragon, I think is what they called him.
Yeah, he was there. I did text Mike. I want to say that this show is bringing smoking back in a big way, between the cigars and then also is it Sanji just lighting up cigarettes left and right in this. I'm like they have thrown all of the 2000s norms to the wind here. Like they're looking for a Shoney's with a smoking section for this movie.
I think we're gonna get the Marble Man in season 3.
Yeah,
eating a devil fruit called the smoke fruit, or the
Let's
lung cancer fruit.
Smoker, that's his. But overall, like, I think it's a good. I miss like the original crew, I guess, are kind of like smaller potatoes now, right? The kid with the was it pink hair, and his little buddy with the bob, who looks like he wants some berries and cream. Yeah, but like like that. The point is, we want more. I think I agree with you. The point is, I'm criticizing because I want so much more to watch, because I'm just eating this show up, and I don't want to go to the manga. I don't want to go to the anime, because I know there's a lot more. Maybe there's like a streamlined cut, like how Dragon Ball Z did Kai version, which like cut it in half. Just by making it more tight. I would love to know if there's like a One Piece version of that, but I don't want to get ahead of where we are, because like you said, I'm having so much fun in the moment and I don't have to think about it. I had nothing to compare it to.
Wow, I've lost all sense of time. The first season premiered August 2023. So it was 2.5 years in between season 1 and season 2. I gotta assume they could condense that now that they know this is a hit and people want.
Well, they've already. No, I mean, I told you that my theatrical version, Joe Manganiello was at the end, and he said, "I'm going to make a sneak. We're already filming season 3, but I'm already going to make a sneak peek appearance in season 1." So they've already done that.
All right, if we can get one of these every year, I'll be so happy.
Oh, absolutely. I would take this over Harry Potter every year, if I'm going to be completely honest, because it's new, and it's fun, and I want to see where all these people go and all the new devil fruits that probably have very basic names.
I do, Chris. I do have one specific legitimate complaint that I just remembered as I was scrolling through the episodes here. And I think I'm already imagining your counter argument when I thought of this when I watched it. So you're already going to tell me I'm overthinking it, and this world does not deserve this much scrutiny.
Let me go ahead, Mike. Whatever it is, you're overthinking it. But go on.
What it is when Luffy and Sanji, they have to climb the Drum Mountain to get to the castle, right? Obviously it's already ridiculous. They've already confirmed the height just with the camera swooping up. Like, no human's making that. I've watched the documentary Free Solo. Like, you have to live within this cartoon world for this to be believable at all. So we are kind of in this world cartoonishly, so I can believe that they can make this climb. But I just wish they could have just put gloves on Luffy, right? Every time his little fingers would go into this frozen mountain, I just kept thinking, he is gonna get frostbite. Like, I don't know if this devil fruit stops him from getting frostbite. And then I just thought, like, they could have even done something fun with it. He could have started with gloves, and by the time he got to the top, they could have been cartoonishly like disheveled and like blown apart and falling off of him. But I was just like, you're just throwing these people on a mountain with snow. Like he's already got Nami's coat, right? We have established that he needs warmer clothes. So just put some gloves on him. I was just like, maybe hopefully this isn't like a little crack in the perfect needle that they're threading.
I'm glad this got you, but not the crossbow that shot the princess up the mountain in like 2 shots. You're not worried.
Badass.
You're not worried about that, but worried about the gloves. Gotcha.
That,
okay, just double
that
checking.
sells it because Usopp was diligently working on it through multiple scenes. So he put effort into it, and that's what made my brain believe that it would work. And also, didn't you see the tiny little Soda Stream air little can that they put on it? That's how it does it. Yeah. It's just instead of carbonating some water, they can just shoot this gigantic rope to the top of the mountain. But that was the only I felt like legitimate gripe I had with the storytelling mechanics. If anybody else out there agrees with me, please let me know.
You've watched that scene from Dumb and Dumber way too many times where he's wearing 2 sets of gloves and he's like, oh, you should have. It's obviously we're in the mountains, you need gloves. I don't know. I think the clothing
was Sanji. I need to go back. If Sanji wasn't wearing gloves too, I'm going to be livid. But if Sanji was wearing gloves, then I will assume that Luffy's devil fruit powers prevent him from getting frostbite. I will let that go if somebody tells me if Sanji was wearing gloves. But if Sanji isn't wearing gloves, we gotta go back, get another CG pass. I want it added to the season post-mortem, gloves on Luffy.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys heard it here. Next week, Mike's going to tell us how technically the snow is part of the seawater and should be killing Luffy and all the other devil fruit people from weighing it down too much.
I mean, I've never been on a pirate boat before, but I've been on pontoons and speedboats, and you get misted a lot. Like, what does seawater mist do to these devil fruit powers? It's got to do a little something. Right?
No, see, it didn't hit him because you know why? Because it missed. Boom. God, yeah. Boom. That's how we end the show, Mike. That's how we end the show this week.
Good job, Chris.
Good job. Thank you. And also thank you for Chris on YouTube for giving us information. We'll read this off air. I don't want to make sure we're not giving spoilers to anybody else, but it's not really spoilers, just details. But, if you guys did anything, head to our YouTube channel and comment on Chris's stuff and see what he's got for you guys, because that's really awesome. I really, really appreciate that.
I don't want to derail your awesome segue ending the show, but I did Google Luffy climbing Drum Mountain, and I'm getting some anime stills, and he's not wearing gloves in the anime, but his hands are literally bleeding.
Yeah. So
and then there's also a shot of him in the manga, and they're bleeding. So like, I wanted to see the toll on his fingers. I wanted it to not be a novel experience climbing the side of this mountain like the show kind of showed it.
The thing is that, on the notes here, we'll talk about it. It's like in the original manga, he couldn't fling himself up the hill. So he's either climbing himself and not flinging up the hill. So how much time do you want to spend doing this? Do you want him flinging up the mountain or do you want him climbing up the mountain? So
I think he should have done both.
Yeah.
He should have they should have shown him starting the climb like flinging, but then obviously, as one naturally does, they get tired when they're climbing a 90-degree angle straight up.
I appreciate your concern for 60 seconds of 8 hours of show that we watched.
Oh man,
this year.
I'm getting some other like screen caps kind of from this season of like anime Luffy keeping Wapple's like mouth open. And this is fun. This is how I want to experience the anime after I watch the live action, just in Google screen caps. That's all I need.
Through unconnected imagery that may or may not be fake at this point in time.
And Wapple's an absolute unit. He's built like the Kingpin in Spider-Verse.
He reminds me of the not villain, but like Pete from Mickey Mouse. Like if you put Pete from Mickey Mouse with a metal jaw. So
absolutely.
All right. Well, that's it, Mike. I'm not going to let you wax poetically about how you didn't enjoy this anymore. So we're going to end the show. If people don't know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at, buddy?
Oh, they can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com and liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN, or video games of the same name. If people want to know more about the show, where we are every week, even if you're sick or whatever, where can they get all them goodies at?
Oh, just head on over to superheroslate.com. That's called a domain name, folks, and a website awaits you on the other end if you climb a mountain with gloves. Superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love listening to podcasts, and we got merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. We love anyone dropping into any live chats anywhere. So we love hearing from you. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you playing? What are you reading? Let us know. And if you want to be a super fan of Superhero Slate, all you have to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys.